compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, laws of the state of New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of the bulletin board at Borough Hall, forwarding a copy to the local source, Star Ledger, and Home News Tribune, and is posted on the Borough website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting was contained on a list of regular set meetings on January 3rd, 2024, and as amended by Resolution 2024-99 dated March 6, 2024. Accordingly, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied in regard to this meeting. Please stand for the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Karlovich? Here. Councilman Boyle? Councilman Finestrella?
Here.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno? Here. Councilman Morrow?
Here.
Councilman Scarice? Councilman Zimmerman?
Here. Councilman Boyle just walked.
Is there a motion to accept and approve the following minutes of the council meeting of June 19, 2024?
Motion.
Roll call.
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno?
Yes.
Councilman Morrow?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-154, appointing Paul Campanelli as Kenilworth Police Chief?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Boyle? Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno?
Yes.
Councilman Morrow?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Okay, it is my honor and privilege to administer the oath of office to Paul Campanelli, the Chief of Police. Bible?
Yep. No, Frank.
I gotta breathe.
Okay, who's going to hold the Bible? I, Paul Campanelli,
I, Paul Campanelli,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and bear true faith
and bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people.
of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will
that I will
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform the duties
perform the duties
of Chief of Police for the Borough of Kenilworth
of Chief of Police for the Borough of Kenilworth,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
Sign on the dotted line.
Paul.
Gotta sign on the dotted line.
Okay. Hey, you bet. You did the honors. Well,
everybody for coming. I was told I should have something prepared because I like to talk. It's better off just to have something ready, so I'll go and be here for 3 hours. I'm deeply honored and humbled to be appointed as Chief of Police. This moment marks the culmination of a lifelong journey that began right here in Kenilworth. Today, accepting the role of Chief after 26 years of service is not just a career achievement, but a childhood dream fulfilled. None of this would have been possible without the unwavering support of my beloved wife, Christine, and our children, Nina and Anthony. Their encouragement, patience, and love have shaped me into the person and leader I am today. To my fellow officers at the Kenilworth Police Department, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your friendship, support, and teamwork over the years. Together we form a department that our community can trust and depend on. I'm committed to leading by example and fostering an environment of integrity, professionalism, and service. I also want to take a moment to thank the council for their steadfast support, for trusting me with this opportunity to lead. Kenilworth is not just a place of work for me, it's a community that I am immensely proud of to protect and serve. My goal as Chief is to create a lasting positive change both within our department and throughout our town. Together with you, the residents of Kenilworth, I aim to strengthen community bonds, enhance safety measures, ensure that our town remains a place we are all proud to call home. Thank you everybody for coming, I really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you everybody. Thank you for
Congratulations. There's a planning board meeting that's happening at 6:30 that he needs to attend. Come on up, Christian.
Hey, Christian. Mayor, thank you for your advice.
Of course.
So, I believe there is a resolution to approve a project for the DPW and the volunteer fire department's parking lots on your agenda.
Yeah.
That project is going to be constructed this year. We're going to do a pre-construction meeting in the next few weeks, and the only other engineering project that I'm involved in is the 2024 DOT roads, which is going out to bid this week. And it will contain Patoot, a portion of Patoot, and a portion of Monroe Avenue.
Christian, what portion of Monroe? I think we were talking before, it was only a couple blocks.
Well, last year's road job included the first 3 blocks from North Michigan. This year's road job will continue on from there, which will hopefully do at least 3 to 4, maybe even 5 more blocks going
4 or 5 more?
Hopefully.
Oh, that's great, because I think we had a resident, Mr. Herbert, who was here, gave his story about riding down Monroe
Yes.
from 14th Street on, and it is the Wild West.
Yes. So we are continuing on. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have up to seven intersections for that project for Monroe.
Christian, is that being funded through the town, or is that being funded through the utility company that was doing work?
No, this is just DOT. This is
just
This is
DOT.
neither the town nor,
So the Department of Transportation is picking it up?
yes. that's correct.
And what about Patoot? What street's on Patoot?
I believe it's the portion that has, that connects South Michigan to the first intersection. I don't have that street. It's behind that gas station. They did, I believe, a half width as part of the gas improvements. So they left the other one untouched, and we're just filling in that half street.
All right. Could you look at from Union Avenue up to, I think it's Red Maple?
Red Maple?
Because they did the same thing. They paved from the center of the road to the curb. So the other part of the road, a good 3 blocks, 4 blocks, now it's all coming up. There's all potholes, and Greg keeps going out and patching it, but
We were able to work with some roads because the water and gas did a half. But there are obviously some roads that don't get that
Right.
benefit, but I will look into that one.
There's a water cap that keeps coming out. And we keep putting, I happen to live on the corner that doesn't need the paving, but the water cap winds up on my lawn, so I keep putting it back in. I should have told you. But anyway, that's what made me think about it, because right around it, the asphalt came up, so the cap comes out.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay, thanks.
Just on that real quick, Councilwoman, Mark, is that ordinance, do we ever finish that ordinance yet where we're paving, any utility companies that do work like that have to pave curb to curb? I know we had talked about it, that's on books now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but
So-
this has been a while.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's been
No, I
like
know.
2 years now.
Right, right. Is there any way to revisit that with them at this point, or is it too late?
I don't think they'll go back, but anything forward will be
Required, okay, so even though it's caused this collateral damage, there's nothing we can do
No.
now, okay.
The only other way is obviously if the town pays for it, or if I.
But you're still gonna have that seam, and it's still gonna be uneven, and, yeah.
The longer you wait, the more evidence.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
On that note, I think we passed the ordinance, we went for its second vote, we were going to revise it to make it a little more strict. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know if it
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
passed or
I
not.
think we have to
Can
bring
we
it back
look
to the
into
second
that?
round
Let's look
still.
into that.
We did pass it, or we
We
didn't?
did pass.
passed
We
the
decided
first
to
one.
Oh, that's right, we decided to
Yes,
yes, you're right.
From 3 to
Moratorium.
5 years, I believe it was.
Yep.
Correct,
Yeah. So
correct.
we have the 3 years in.
Right,
I
we want to
think
extend
we
it to
still need
5.
bring it
In a
back to
situation
5
like this, it may actually come into play.
in a few years.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, good. That's a good reminder, because I don't think we did
Yeah.
that second part.
No, we
Thank
didn't,
you.
yeah.
I'll make sure we get something.
Yeah, I have a question. Sure. I have some citizens complaining, where they live on Red Maple, it's a cul-de-sac. There's a water course back there that's eroding the properties to the point that there's undermined trees. Some trees may have fell already or are about to fall. There was a section that DOT, they said, fixed by Trenton, and they dredged, and that was a few years ago. And they put in stone a couple years ago, but they didn't go as far as Red Oak Lane, so they were looking for what they could possibly do, because it's eroding into the properties, and like I said, it's undermining trees, and then we got, so you guys could take a look at it. And
Yeah,
see-
we'll take a look at it. Either I'll go or Tony will go.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any updates on the water fountain, or, I know,
I'm still waiting on another quote. We got one quote, but another one was incomplete. Because
Okay.
we decided to add another fountain, and he didn't give us
Yes,
a quote.
no.
He didn't. The person didn't give us another quote for that, and
Okay.
he was. I'd like to get at least 2 quotes for that.
yeah, no, definitely. And then I understand for the roof, we started to get quotes,
For which one?
the roof. I don't know if you,
No,
Tony was involved?
That'd be Tony, not me.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you have an update, no.
And that new email that came out, Angela, with the opportunity to make application to the county for this year, have we decided on anything yet?
For which one?
Wasn't there a newer one that just came out not a couple weeks ago, or was that just the previous award?
I think it's a previous
Oh,
award.
the previous award, you mean?
No, I thought there was another one that came out more recently requesting that there's a time period to apply for this summer.
The kids' recreation and the greening.
This was a
County
county
on
one.
August.
This was a
Those
county.
are both coming up in August. I'll
That must
take a
be-
look.
that's it. That's
That
the
one is
one.
definitely, that's the
That's the
Green
one.
Union
Yeah.
County
Yes,
and the
that's the
Kids
Green Union
Recreation
County one,
Trust.
yes.
Those are both due August 30th.
Right,
and
so we're gonna need your help to get those in order and whatever we need to get done.
Yeah, so we did have a meeting with, Tony was there, and Greg, and rec committee to go through what we've done, because we had money, that's the annual one, and we had a lot of money, we had a lot of priorities, and we were going through what we had anticipated to do. We recapped what's been done, what's left, and so from that, we you can see what's left and what's new, and then that's the stuff they'll apply for. And that one, Tony usually does the application.
Yeah.
I just know there's only one meeting in August, and it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, so
I just
that-
want us to get
Right.
help behind the ball.
No, that resolution is, we were talking about it actually earlier this week. It is slated on my list to put that resolution in the agenda. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
And I'll follow up with Tony just to make sure that
Yeah, he was at that meeting. I know, it always seems to be, but we'll, and we have to have a follow-up to it, so.
Thank you, Christian. Yeah, just so I just don't want us to get quote where, I know last time we were like trying last minute to get all these quotes in for the senior center and everything, so. But when it comes to these grants, I'd rather try and stay ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
you.
Christian.
Thanks, Christian.
Okay, finance report, Councilman Finestrella.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically, taxes are due August 1st. I spoke to Ken, the CFO, and he did say that the state numbers were finalized, and he's not far off with the final numbers with the estimate. And same thing as what he explained before, was that the municipal is really only responsible for 30% of that whole bill. 50% goes to the school, 18% to the county. Library gets 1%, and the open space is 1%. But if you break it down compared to last year's taxes, the county went up 12%. The open space went up 15%, but they only went up from $71 to $84. School went up 10%. Library went up 16%. And the municipal went up only 8%. So unfortunately, I think a lot of cities are going to have this burden also besides Kenilworth. And unfortunately, it's the state we live in, but we got to do something hopefully in the future to resolve this matter. But that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Department of Public Works, Councilman Boyle.
I don't have my glasses, so forgive me. I know we have one guy out on workman's comp from the DPW. The new garbage truck is in New Jersey, and I believe we're going to get it in like a week or two.
All right.
The DPW collected and disposed of 232 tons. Is that right?
Yeah, it was just like $17,900.
Yeah, almost $18,000. And I know the Spaghetti Streets, especially Lincoln Drive, Coolidge, we've had a lot of tree issues. Craig has been meeting me at people's houses, and he's taken care of a lot in the last few days. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Councilman.
Kudos to the response time from your team on those trees being down. I've watched it all over town, and as soon as a complaint comes in, a couple hours later, you're already assessing the situation. I don't think we could ask for anything more. Thank you, Councilman Boyle.
Yeah, great job, Greg.
Thank you.
Yep.
But it was a team effort, it's not just me, it's the whole department.
Very good.
The department, the police department, fire department, we all came together on this one.
Good job.
Excellent.
Okay, Department of Public Safety, Councilman Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. For the month of June, the Kenilworth Police Department responded to 1,141 calls for service, and there were 174 911 calls for June. There were a total of 247.50 hours of overtime for the month, primarily for scheduled patrol overtime, which was 116 hours, and dispatch overtime, which was 108 hours. With vacations, there's always an increase in the summer for the overtime on our department. The Kenilworth Police Department completed 308 hours of training for the month, which included the ARRIVE program, firearms, Union County Emergency Response Team, and various New Jersey Learn online classes that our officers took. The Kenilworth Police Department also issued 193 traffic summonses for the month of June 2024. Excuse me, there were 2 sick days used and 0 sick occurrence hours, and there were no on-the-job injury hours or days taken for June by the officers and dispatchers. June was another busy month as the Kenilworth Police Department was dispatched to approximately 10 calls for motor vehicle burglaries. Car thefts and attempts are still ongoing. Kenilworth Police units responded to 4 stolen vehicle flock alerts, and they're able to intercept the suspects before they were able to victimize Kenilworth residents. So all 4 flock alerts with our camera system at Boulevard, Michigan did deter those suspects. It continues to be a very valuable asset to the borough, alerting the Kenilworth Police Department when we have actors looking to steal vehicles or commit other crimes in our town. and residents are reminded to please lock their vehicles when they're not in use, in your driveways, in the street. Do not leave key fobs or any valuables visible in your vehicle that may tempt an actor. I know a lot of people have a false sense of security in town, and they do leave their wallets, their purses, laptops, iPads, and keys in their cars. Please do not do that. Kenmore Police Department has seen a rise in crimes that are occurring within the borough that are posted to their Facebook page, excuse me, without a call to the police department. So what they're saying is, please call the police for crime so that we know where they're happening, what happened, and we can do something about it as a police department. When we see them on Facebook and the police department learns about them on Facebook, it's a day late and a dollar short. There's not too much the police department can do at that point except follow up. So they're encouraging any resident to please call the police department as soon as possible when any criminal or suspicious behavior, no matter how minor it may seem, occurs. If something looks out of place, please call the police department. They'd rather come out and check it out and it's nothing versus tomorrow they find out that it was something serious or something that could have been prevented. And I'd just like to say congratulations to Captain Campanelli on being promoted to chief tonight. I have high expectations of him, and I know he's going to do a great job. I've worked with him, and the town is in good hands. And thank you to the mayor for working and getting the police chief back in place in position after Chief Seuss retired on July 1st. And looking forward to working with the new chief and the mayor and council on his moving forward from this point.
Great.
Thank you.
And on the topic of the key fobs, my son has a habit of throwing his keys around on the kitchen table, going up to sleep. Anybody weird breaks into the house, if she sees the keys right there, go right out.
Yeah,
and steal the car right out of the right on the driveway.
Right. I know Chief Campanelli didn't put it in this report, but there was an incident on the weekend on 21st Street, North 21st Street, where somebody their car was, they could tell that the car had the key fob, the car was unlocked, but the key fob was not in the car. And the actors did go into the house to look for the key fob while they were sleeping at 3:30 in the morning. And they did steal a pocketbook and some other stuff in the house while they were sleeping. So please, and they went through an open window. So make sure your windows are locked, make sure that you're being vigilant with your car, locking it, and just be on high caution. And if you do hear or see anything in your house that sounds suspicious in the middle of the night, don't confront people, just call the police so that we can get there to intercept it. But this is going on not in just Kenilworth, it's going on in Short Hills, Westfield, every town around us. It's nothing new. With technology comes a lot of drawbacks for the police department, and key fobs are one of them. And it just makes stealing things easier. So, unfortunately. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you. You know what, I also want to announce, because it'll happen, our meeting is after the Kenilworth Carnival, the Fire Department Carnival is August 13th to the 18th this year. Planning and Zoning, Councilman Morrow.
Thank you, Mayor. Light report for tonight. I'll begin with Planning Board, as right next door, they're hosting a special meeting. It is open to the public if anybody here wants to go. The meeting tonight is to address a resolution for solar panels to be put on top of the St. Teresa schools. In addition to the solar panel resolution, they will be talking about a traffic study for a separate application for construction that may take place on Michigan Avenue and the Boulevard. Again, the meeting is right next door, and it is open to the public if anybody wants to sit in. In addition to what's going on tonight, there are also 8 other applications that are still going through the process of review with our town professionals and will make their way to the planning board in due time. With respect to zoning and code enforcement, as well as complaints, we've been pretty steady. That's a good thing, right, since the last month. We've only had 2 complaints logged in for July. I think that's a very low number. Both of them are property maintenance related, easy to deal with those types of things, and they've been dealt with in due course. For zoning, applications have been a little light for July, not too uncommon. We've seen a couple of new businesses apply for zoning applications, for zoning, and some miscellaneous home accessories to be built. We do have one complaint came into zoning since our last meeting, relates to a neighbor's above-ground pool that may or may not have been built without permits and not meeting setback requirements in the property. That is being investigated now, and I'll have a determination on what happens with that by the next meeting. And that's all I got for tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Recreation and Fire, Councilman Scurries.
Thank you, Mayor. I have some questions on the consent agenda. Are we going to have a pause after reports, or shall we mention it?
Okay.
Before we vote on it.
What's that?
I had a question for the
Questions about the
consent agenda?
Yeah, a couple things. So I don't know if I should talk about it now before we vote on it.
You can talk about it now, sure.
Okay. Before I give my report, number 156, I was just curious, the amount of funds involved and what they're going to be used for. I couldn't ascertain that.
Oh, this is it's a kind of a routine. This is part of the CDBG grant program that we participate in. And so we apply for several CDBG grants throughout every year with the county, Savino, and what happens is this is just that agreement to participate, and we just have to amend it every year to add a line for the fiscal year, 24-25 year.
Okay.
So CDBG is part of the program. That is the grant that deals with senior services for the senior center. It's the grant we were just talking about with Christian for the water fountains. That's all part of CDBG. The senior center grant that we got, that CARES grant, went through the CDBG. It's every year it changes. All of the curbs, those ADA curbs, that's all part of the CDBG grant. So hopefully that helps. This one is not doing any specific funds. It's just updating the amendment we have with the county for the fiscal year.
Okay, that's good, thank you. Number 158, I was wondering which public improvement project they're going to be working on? That's not the bridge over the Parkway, is it?
Oh, I think that's
No, that's the one for,
paving.
that's the one we were just talking about
Fire
for Monroe
department
Avenue.
and the Monroe Avenue.
Monroe Avenue.
Yeah, that's an NJDOT grant.
Yep.
Okay. And 163 looks the same as 168. I don't know if I'm looking at that.
Yeah, the difference is the year. So you'll see what happened is this license had an issue with the state. So if you remember 1 or 2 meetings ago, we had to rescind a liquor license at the request of the state. That was this one for last year. So they have worked with the state. They've addressed their issues. I was given the okay from the state. So we have to do 23, 24. You have to go back and renew that license.
Okay.
And if you notice, that's why the second one is actually, this one's in the consent. The second one for this current year, which they have paid all their fees and they're good with the state, they're good with the town fees, that is a separate resolution outside of the consent because they have to be approved in the consecutive year or in consecutive order. So we have to approve 23, 24 before we can approve 24, 25.
Okay, that makes sense. Which business is that? I mean, couldn't tell.
It's a pocket license, which means they don't have an establishment right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, pocket. All right.
That's what the inactive, just an FYI, that's what the inactive means here.
No place yet. Okay. I'll move on to reports. I don't have a recreation report. We didn't have the meeting on July 11th for the fire department. I was told that the carnival was on the 12th to the 17th.
Oh, do I have the wrong dates?
Was it 18th?
17th.
Oh, I have the wrong dates.
Yeah, all right, I just want to make sure. 12th to the 17th is the carnival. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but that's what.
Sorry about that. I don't know how
Okay.
it must have been last year's I just pulled up the calendar. It must have been from
Okay.
last year. That's why.
During the month of June, the fire department responded to the following 52 calls: 2 brush, leaf, mulch fires, 3 carbon monoxide alarms, 1 CPR, 1 elevator alarm, 1 fire in the garage, 12 fire alarms, 1 first responder, 3 medical assists or lift assists, 6 motor vehicle accidents, 4 mutual aid responses, 1 to Elizabeth, 1 to Garwood, 1 to Roselle Park, 1 to Union, 1 call for odor of gas, 9 power telephone cable lines, 1 smoke condition, 1 transformer fire, 5 trees with branches down, and 1 water flow alarm. During these incidences, fire department traveled 185 miles, utilized 311 man-hours. The fire department rescue squad responded to 37 calls, traveling 267 miles, and utilized 98 man-hours. Additional man-hours utilized during the month of June include administrative 267, stipend 1,240, fire training 26. Total calls for the month 89, total miles traveled 452, total hours 1,942. And that's all I have to report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Borough CFO?
It's on a
He's
cruise.
on vacation.
Good for him. Borough Attorney?
Nothing to report.
Borough Administrator?
Did you have anything? No. Oh, okay.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Tony, I'm sorry. Why are you not? Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. No, it's not okay. Council.
That's what I get.
Education, Health, and Human Services.
Recognize me.
Councilwoman Judah Seno. I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
Mayor. I have nothing to report for the Health Department. The Board of Education rescheduled their meeting from last Monday to this Monday. I was not informed, so unfortunately, I don't have an update, but I do know that was the first meeting with the new superintendent, and I believe he was on vacation, so of course, they didn't want him to miss his first meeting, so it was rescheduled. The library does not meet during the summer. However, I would strongly urge anybody to utilize the library, especially with this heat wave we have going on. There's a lot of activities going on for seniors and for children. Actually, my niece has her 1-year-old going there, and they have a ball. They have a lot of different things for children of all ages, so when you can't get out to the park or go for a walk, I would suggest tapping into our library. The townwide garage sale is going to be Saturday, September 28th, and Sunday, September 29th. And I just saw on the calendar for the Historical Society, they have a bus trip on Saturday, July 27th, going to the Tropicana. So if there's still tickets available, there are, Shirley, that's a great trip to do. It's a lot of fun. And again, it's another way to get out of the heat. Also, I urge the seniors to take advantage of going to the senior center, getting out of the heat, and enjoying a lot of activities and camaraderie with other seniors. But one thing on the heels of your conversation about key fobs, I see a lot of people leave windows open, or they'll have a window air conditioner that can easily be pushed in on a first floor. So just be mindful of that. If you leave a window open with a screen down, or a window air conditioner on the first floor.
Or even just an unlocked window. I think that's what
Yeah.
this one was. It was just
Yeah,
unlocked.
Exactly. So just be careful of that. I know it's really hot and people are tempted to open a window, especially if you don't have air conditioning. But be careful, especially when you're going to sleep at night, that somebody doesn't come in. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Borough Administrator.
I don't. I'll just say that we had a special primary election was yesterday, and I will give a shout out, I would like to say, to Justin, is the head custodian at the schools. He always does an excellent job and is very good at coming up with ideas, especially with the construction. So we went over things that had to be changed, and thanks to Greg, who also stepped in with the construction, we had to make some adjustments to the way you enter the building for yesterday. So it was just great. I'd like to say thanks.
I also saw that email, if this is a time and place, from D&M Fireworks. They wanted us to get back to them. They said that we didn't reply to that.
Seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I had a conversation with
I didn't get
Angela
it.
today about that,
So-
and she said Greg did send a response. I'm sorry, Greg.
Well, that,
Our borough attorneys sent a response to them, correct?
do you remember this?
This
Yeah.
is the
We wanted the
firework
fireworks.
company.
I don't know, yeah.
When we did it,
Does that do with changing the date?
No,
This is, they were questioning the process we had selected, yes.
Yeah, I sent him an
Yeah.
So, yes, you did, yes.
Yeah,
And then-
Mark did reply to it, and then this, I guess, is
He
another
sent
follow-up.
one today,
Yeah.
a couple hours ago.
right.
I instructed him to direct future correspondence to me, so, was I copied on it, because I didn't see it?
No, it's
I think it was just sent to mayor and council.
Mayor and council.
They want to know when we're rescheduling or what we're going to
No,
plan to
it's
do with
a
them.
different
It's
company.
a different company.
Yeah.
This was a company that
What's
didn't
the
get.
planning?
So
Yeah.
should we pick a date to reschedule the
But I'm
fireworks?
talking about the one that said when we're going to reschedule, nobody's got back to them. I saw that email.
Did it come to me?
Let me check.
You can say.
Do we want to talk about that, or do you want to wait till the next meeting to talk about it?
I think we should get on a calendar. We might wait too long and then
If we wait too long next
we'll
year.
be in
Well,
September.
we did, I will say, just so you all know, that we are,
No, the one
Not-
he's talking about is from D&M, not Garden State. So Joe's referring to
I have it
D&M.
in-
Yes.
Yeah, which Mark
Right,
responded to. So
right,
that was already
right.
taken care of.
Well, he sent another one today.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Joe's
claiming
talking
that he
about.
didn't get a
Yeah.
response,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I didn't get one today.
Yeah, he
you
sent
know,
one.
the order of things, Mark, is I got the one email I sent to you, you responded to that. It was after that,
Right
not
here.
long after,
It was
that he
sent on-
sent something, he avoided you and I and went directly
It was sent
to
yesterday.
mayor and council.
Yep.
That's the one that came to them, and I think what he's going back to you all saying, you never responded to him.
Right.
Mark, you had sent your response, maybe it was a day before he had sent the original one. Because we were just looking today, I didn't know anyone had
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, I reached out to
I didn't
Angela about it
realize.
today, and I'm sorry I didn't tell everybody about
So would you
that,
like-
just to make sure that we did send a response. And
If everyone would like, I will happily say that the proposals for fireworks companies all went through the QPA. We followed the procedure and the process 100%. I have all the emails, everything was done in writing, in email. It is very transparent. I also shared everything with Mark, so he
Yeah.
could see and verify what I was saying before he did his response to them. There is some
And I did speak to you
misrepresentation- yes.
then, and I spoke to you again today about it, so I did
Yes.
follow up with
So-
Angela, and they did everything.
Just
based
if
on-
anyone has any questions, I have everything, and it all went through the QPA, followed the process. He uses the term bid, but please know that this is not over the bid threshold. We did not go out for bid. There is a very big difference between we went for proposals, which we are required to do based on the amount we are spending. We were not required to go through bid, but we followed all of that procedure
The
correctly.
protocols were
Yeah,
followed.
it was completely in compliance with the law. If you like, I could respond to this individual again. It's up to
No.
you. Just let it go.
No,
No,
I
just
mean,
that one.
I don't think we
just would-
should.
I would, of course,
Joe was mixing
advise
it up.
everyone
Yeah, that's
not
what
to
I was
respond to
mixing
it then.
Right,
Because who knows what they may intend to do with
right.
the interpretation.
It seems like a baited email.
Somewhat unprofessional to send the follow-up email the way it was sent.
I agree 100%.
It doesn't warrant a response.
No, I agree.
Well, I'm confused that they want to know, the company we have the fireworks, want to know what we were
No, we have Garden
going
State.
So now let's
That's-
move on to
that's
that conversation.
Two different things, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I know we're going to be in fall, it's not horrible to have fireworks in fall, but if people want I mean, I'm really open and have no opinion really about when they should or shouldn't be. I mean, we talked about, it would be fun to have them like the last night of the carnival even, but I don't think the fire department could probably handle both of those things. You know, so.
Did they give you any dates?
No, that's, and I will say that, so as far, that's all I wanted to say, is we have a lot of flexibility with the fireworks
We can have
company.
fireworks
They
for
can
the
go-
kids going back to school.
You can, actually, even all the way through the end of the year, they're flexible. It's also, though, what we'll do is when you have some dates, we'll go to the county and make
Right,
sure
right.
it's, like, they're good with it, but other than that.
What about National Night Out? I thought I heard someone mention that.
They don't
did that
wanna
last
move
year.
it. They don't want to move it from.
Yeah, they want to keep it where it is, because it's more contained right here at Borough Hall, so.
Right. So does anyone have any thoughts or ideas or
New Year's Eve.
input?
Labor Day weekend?
I like that.
Labor Day weekend, I don't know.
What do we got to
People
go
are
to
away.
town for? Get fireworks right here.
I
in
like
Kenmore.
that.
And actually, on that note,
That would be really fun.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
not to like get off key, but Joe just brought up a good point. I meant to bring it up. National Night Out, our next meeting will be before our next meeting also. So National Night Out will be on August 6th, which is a Tuesday.
Right.
At 6 p.m. So National Night will be in the driveway right here, 6 p.m. On August
That one.
6th. Okay, yeah, right, that way. Yeah, right, yeah.
6 p.m.?
That window. But yeah, right here on 23rd Street. Yeah. It'll be on the borough website once it's solidified and on the police department Facebook page. It's usually from like 6 to 8 or 6 to 9.
August,
So
what date did you say?
that is on August
August
6th.
6th. It's always the first Tuesday.
So would it be terrible to have it then? If it's 6 to 9, fireworks usually go off at 9:30.
To go after?
I don't know.
Just throwing it out there.
Is this a use it or lose it, or can we carry it over for credit for next year?
No, you have to use it. As far as the fireworks company, I don't know that the county was in the same mindset, but the fireworks company and our agreement with them actually goes until March 1st. So you could use it any date until then, they don't care. After that, it gets into their schedule for next year, and that's what they don't want. And
Plus
so,
their
and it
fireworks
is.
are going to cost more.
And they've already accounted, which is why, and they may have purchased already,
Right.
which is why we have to use it. We can't just kind of say, okay, we're not going to pay, so.
The only thing I would suggest, if we're going to do it, if we think we might do it in August, do it on a weekday, because a lot of people go away on weekends, and you're not going to get the same participation.
A lot of towns actually did it on weekdays this year, including Roselle Park, and it was pretty successful, so,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I think it's Thursday or something.
So what about picking, I don't want to do a Thursday, but I guess we could, but
How about Tuesday the 13th? Do a Tuesday night. Because sometimes people go away Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's a carnival night?
oh, that's a carnival night.
Yeah, so I don't know if we
No
want to do that.
Before the carnival.
I'm sorry?
August
We have
6th.
flexibility, let's do it before the carnival.
How about the 20th?
The
I mean, it's supposed to be
20th?
for 4th of July, so they're closer.
August 20th is good.
I mean, we could do the 20th. I don't know what everybody else thinks, whatever you guys think.
August,
Few dates, right?
Anyone have any,
Say August.
still got half of July, I mean,
well, we have, that might be hard to put
If
that,
you want to
coordinate all that.
publicize it and get people
And
there.
we have 2 weeks left of July,
Yeah,
not even 2 weeks. Well,
like
yeah,
first week of August then, maybe.
that's fine, I won't be here, but,
Well, I want you to be here, you're the mayor.
Well, you know, the
I'll
thing
wait
is you have
till the
flexibility,
20th.
so.
Also, assuming the location is going to stay the same, the vendors already paid everything, so we have to make sure that they're good. Pretty sure Thursdays work for them.
Why not Tuesdays though?
I don't know, but he told me he was free on Thursdays for the next month,
Okay.
2 of them.
well, Thursday's gonna be,
Yeah.
it's not a night I
Can you
can
see about
do.
Tuesdays?
No Thursday?
No, I work till late,
All right, I'll send you a
yeah.
message. Angela, I'll send you a message tomorrow.
Is anybody not good with the 20th of August?
Just me, but I don't care.
Oh, no, but what about the 13th, Joe? Are you good on the 13th? Oh, the carnival, what,
I personally like the idea of aligning this to an event, not just randomly throwing it in the month. Columbus Day in October, Labor Day even, do it right after that. I just, it just seems ungenuine to have it in the middle of a week on a random week in August. The National Night Out piece made sense. We were connecting it to something. If there's a chance to do it around a holiday, let's celebrate, but...
We can do
on a
September
random
3rd after
Tuesday.
Labor Day. I mean, I don't know what everybody's schedule is, bumping it back to then. It's only
that's
Thursday.
fine, it's just that I'm just putting it out there, now, not a big deal for me this year, but that is also back to school week,
Right.
and that's
That's
a,
tough.
Well, our kids go back on the 11th or the 12th, something like that.
They
Our
go
kids
back
are
on the
going
11th?
Late, I thought, right? It was supposed to be late
Really?
this
I
year
didn't know
because of the
that.
construction.
Oh,
well, then
How do
it
you
could work.
No, there was something to that this year where it was going to be a little later, but then they moved the date up a little bit. I can't tell you what the date actually was, though.
I mean, that's
But it is
really
late.
late, yeah. I mean, if it's back to school week, I just know from years how hectic that week is, but I'm not against it.
How about Angela and Pat talk to their respective people about Tuesdays in August or September and see what they could come up with? Because that, we could sit here and decide a date, and then half of the vendors we need can't make it.
That's close.
yeah, mine are good. I'll tell you, he's already said to me. His only hesitation were like the days around the 4th of July.
Right.
So, I absolutely will, but I don't foresee any issue there.
Yeah.
Now, the county is a different story.
Right.
But I will definitely talk to them, for sure, and see if there's any days they can't do.
But I do like your idea with Labor Day or something like that being, it's a holiday weekend, it might not
Yeah.
be bad ending it with fireworks
Yeah.
on that Tuesday, if we can, if they don't go back to school until
The
later.
first day of school is September 5th.
Oh, it moved up that early.
Yeah.
And what day is the day after Labor Day? The 2nd or the 3rd?
It's the 3rd.
Yeah, third, I mean, Tuesday.
Yeah, so you
third.
could do it Tuesday the 3rd.
Yeah.
So we'll find out, and I can put that as a
Okay.
Possibility.
possibility. We'll see in the
All right,
others,
let's
but
see.
if that works.
See if that
That'd be
works.
fun. And the long
Parents will be
weekend.
happy celebrating kids going back to school.
We celebrate.
The kids will be crying and the parents will be cheering.
That's how it goes.
Teachers will be crying too.
Are you good on the 3rd? So even Joe's good on the 3rd, so that'd be a home run if we can get it off. Everybody will be there.
And that's the nice thing, most people are back after
Yeah.
Labor Day, right?
Yeah.
So most
Yeah,
families will
everybody.
be around.
Before Linda mentioned, I texted Justin, he says teachers start on the 3rd, and like Linda said, it's so I don't know if the teachers thing's gonna affect it, just so you know.
Well, we're at Blackbrook, right? Not at the school, so
Are we definitely keeping it there?
Teachers just doing
I don't think
training.
we have a choice. Can't go
We'll
back to
check, that's
school.
the first one we'll check on, how's that? And then other than that, we'll see for all the Tuesdays and then come back to everybody. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a
And
plan.
then if it's all good, we'll announce it. So for now, we'll check with all of our people, you check with yours, and we'll circle back.
Talk to your
Sounds like a
people, I'll
plan.
talk to
Well,
mine.
Your people talk to mine.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept and approve borough reports?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next for council consideration is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion?
Second. Third.
The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2024-155 through 2024-167, excluding 2024-164, which was pulled to come later in the agenda. These resolutions will be approved by one motion. All items will be recorded individually in full in the minutes. Councilman Boyle.
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno.
Yes.
Councilman Morrow.
Yes.
Councilman Scarice.
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-164, appointing Anthony Scarice as the permanent police officer for the Kenilworth Police
Motion.
Department?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle.
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella.
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Paserno.
Yes.
Councilman Morrow.
Yes.
Councilman Scarice.
Abstain?
Councilman Zimmerman.
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-168, authorizing the renewal of inactive plenary retail consumption license 2008-33-006-010 Black Ops LLC for 2024-2025 license year?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle?
Yes.
Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Picerno?
Yes.
Councilman Morrow?
Yes.
Councilman Scurries?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
We have ordinance 2024-12 for introduction tonight. It's ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 141, Parks and Recreation, Article 2, Trespassing, Section 141-4.1, Restrictions, to accommodate programs and/or events outside of stated hours.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2024-12 for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Boyle? Councilman Finestrella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Giordano Picerno?
Yes.
Councilman Morrow?
Yes.
Councilman Scurries?
Yes.
Councilman Zimmerman?
Yes.
Be it hereby resolved that ordinance 2024-12 heretofore introduced does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on August 21st, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the Borough Council, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law.
Okay, I'd like a motion to open the floor to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone have anything to say for the good and well-being of Kenilworth? Please come forward and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Shari Brennan, 19 North 21st Street, and I was here maybe within the last 6 or 8 weeks, and my neighbor widened his driveway without a permit. So I was talking with Billy and with Anthony, and they requested him to restore this area, and it happens to be an easement in my favor as well. And he did not do the job. He took out some of the concrete and replaced it with a small bit of dirt. And then he replaced most of the concrete with what is 3/4 inch clean stone, which is not a decorative stone. It's a stone that's supposed to be a base or driven on. And I've seen this owner of the property already driving on it. So basically, he changed it from a parking lot with concrete to a parking lot with 3/4 inch clean stone. So it's not restored. So what I'm asking for is for him to have a citation issued to him for widening his driveway without permit. There's too much impervious land now. There's no more grass. My property has grass on the front lawn. And if you go from that grass to the boulevard, it's like 250 feet of no grass whatsoever. It's not the way that it's supposed to be. I would also like it to be known that he had a lawyer call me. His lawyer is Harvey Fruchter, and this man has called me, has texted me. I don't know why he's conversing with me. I'm not his client. He should be sending me things through registered mail. He said he would not. He spoke to me not announcing who he was first. I thought he was a lawyer responding to me because I called a few for some opinions, but then it turns out that he's the lawyer for that other homeowner. And I told him one of my biggest problems was that he did not call before he dug, right? And there's gas there for sure. And Harvey told me that why would it be a problem? Number one, he already dug and there was no explosion. Or number two, if he dug and it did explode and kill you, then he wouldn't be complaining to me. So this man's ridiculous. He's making a joke out of killing me. Then he refused to send me anything by registered mail. I said, I don't even want to talk to you anymore, and I had a friend call him back on my behalf to try to tell him to lay off of me. And, his business is not with me. His business is with the town, or I don't know. But the man told me, Harvey told me, that he would retaliate against me if I pushed this farther. Just the same way that the owner did 6 to 8 weeks ago. So I don't know what these retaliations are that these men are going to do to me as a single woman property owner who did nothing. I just pointed out that they did the wrong things. The property was supposedly restored this past Saturday, but it wasn't. So I'm not letting go of this. I would like him cited now to put it back to where it was. So he now has a building with 2 3-bedroom apartments, 2 studios, and he made this driveway so that he himself, as a businessman, can use the garage to run his business. So he has like 5 different things going in there now. This is it's supposed to be a neighborhood of 2-family and 1-family homes. So it's just it's something that needs to be taken care of, and I don't know where we're going to go from here, but it's not done.
So, Ms. Brennan, thanks for coming tonight, and I can tell you Anthony has been pretty diligent. I'm sure he's been getting back to you as well about how he's been approaching this. He's got to go through the motions. The motions include issuing the notice of violation, gave the gentleman a couple of weeks to put it back in order. I think you were telling us it wasn't exactly how you expected. Anthony goes out there and does the inspection now, and if it's warranted, and please, Mark, correct me where I'm going to go wrong on procedure here, he issues the summons, and then it goes into the courts. And that's how this goes through the next step. And at that point, it becomes a property owner dispute that if he's not complying with the court order from the town. So Mark, is that process generally how it will play out?
From a zoning perspective, so your situation raises issues in 2 distinct areas. The first is whether or not what he did was consistent with the procedures that must be followed for improving your land. Sometimes it requires an application, sometimes it just means applying for a permit. I don't know enough about it, and certainly that's what's being looked at.
Yeah.
He did not.
The second aspect is your easement rights, and that's a private issue between you and him. And if he's doing something that interferes with your ability to use property that you feel you have a property.
I do have one. It's locked in the county.
If you have a property interest in, then you need to retain the services of a lawyer and have that lawyer contact him and explain how and why he's interfering with your easement rights. But your attorney's going to have to look at that and see if in fact that's the case, and then take the appropriate action. So the only thing that we could do is compel compliance with the code, and that's in progress, and that does have a step-by-step process that has to be followed.
That house was built in the late 80s. There's a plan somewhere in here. I imagine that it was purposely not concrete solid from left to right on the whole 50 feet. Right, because he would have done that before.
Well, that's not us,
Yeah.
the governing
So-
body, to weigh in on. It's the zoning department. They will.
Yeah, we're I saw when Campanelli was right here, we are a society that follows rules, right? So the rules have not been followed here.
Anthony is looking at it, and the next step from chatting with him is what we can do with the courts, not what Mark is suggesting with the property rights between the owners. And that is the next step, and that is compelling. How compelled this gentleman is to fix it at that point, we will find out. But we'll have Anthony get back to you on that last email.
Yeah.
I know that he wanted to roll through. We share him with Union and Springfield, just so you know. So he does a couple days here in Kenilworth, and I don't think he's been back yet since that last email came. So we're going to do the drive-by, take a look.
Okay, if you look now, all the sewers and the water and the gas are all marked after all the work was done, after they already dug on it. And my family and me evacuated for the day because we were afraid of blowing up.
It is?
It's concerning.
We will, I know our zoning officer is working on it, so.
Okay.
I agree
Thank
with
you.
Councilman Morrow.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
If anybody wants to look, or anyway, you could go to 17 North 21st.
I would like to see what it looks like. Do you mind? I mean, I'll go over there, but If you have a picture, I'll definitely take a look at
Just
it.
generally on your point about why didn't they pave the whole thing, there is a 75%, 25% impervious to impervious, impervious to pervious requirement on the land, so you can't pave over your whole property.
No.
It's not allowed.
That area with the
Without an exception.
stones, those like gray stones, that used to all be dirt and mulch and like low-lying plants. And also like this area that was dirt right here, that used to be right here.
Yeah.
And
Not
generally,
gravel
stone
which
is
Anthony's
considered
okay with, he said.
an impervious coverage
Yeah.
at some form. It's
gravel
usually
stone.
not considered the same as macadam. Some towns have it
I guess it's
50%.
right, they look-
So if you have 2 feet covered in stone, they'll consider it to be 1 foot
there's
covered in
codes or
stone
anything.
for the purposes of those calculations. But when Anthony looks at it, I'm sure he'll look at it with respect to the impervious coverage maximum that's permitted.
Yeah, and this is not decorative stone. This is stone that is supposed to be a base to a patio or driven on.
Well, it is his property, and if the impervious coverage is not exceeded, our hands are tied. Then it's whether or not your easement rights somehow regulate this, and that's why you may have to consult a personal attorney.
Okay. Yeah, and I might consult an attorney too about being threatened now by 2 men.
Well, I
That's
certainly,
totally different.
if you feel that your safety's in jeopardy, you definitely have to communicate with
Yeah.
the police department and make sure that you're safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I hope it gets resolved quickly.
Mayor and Council, Leroy Lewis, 336 Coolidge Drive.
Sorry, would you mind repeating that? I didn't.
Leroy Lewis, 336 Coolidge Drive. I'm here to ask you guys, do any of you guys know the town's schedule for maintenance of borough trees that are owned by the borough along the roadways?
When you say maintenance, do you mean trimming?
Trimming, pruning?
Greg, is there a schedule for something like that? It just happens.
There never was, as far back as our records at the office go to 2001. There is no policy on having a set schedule. It was always whatever the employees would see, borough employees would see, like DW employees or what residents would call it. And then they were evaluated on a call-by-call basis.
Okay. The reason I ask is because I've called the town a couple times and been told there's no money in the budget to take care of these trees. The reason I'm here is because when I first moved into town 4 years ago, there was a dead borough tree in front of my home. Just had my home built. There was a dead tree in front of the house. Took me, I can't tell you how many calls to get this tree removed. Finally, I called and I said, listen, my insurance company's now been notified by certified mail that the town is refusing to remove this dead tree in front of my home. If there's any damage caused to the home when this tree falls, you can go after the township. Brings me, ironically, after I made that call, and then I believe it was prior to you starting, because I know I didn't speak to you. After I made that call, ironically, the next day the tree was taken down. So now, fast forward to last September. A branch comes down off of a tree next to my home, causes $4,000 in damage to my home, of which now I have to pay a deductible. Fast forward again to last Saturday. Another branch falls off of a tree, destroys my car, totals my car. I'm now out of deductible again, along with the vehicle. I have a piece of the tree here if anybody would like to see it. This limb on this tree has been dead for years. There is no moisture in this tree at all, in this limb. Neighbors of mine have called repeatedly regarding these tree limbs, nothing is done. Nothing is done. If one of these, now I live on what we all call the spaghetti streets in town, and everyone walks those streets, whether it's with their children, with their dogs, they're out jogging, riding their bicycles. Are we going to wait for one of these limbs to fall and kill somebody or seriously injure somebody? If you come to my home, I can show you, my neighbor across the street from me will not park his truck in his driveway because there are limbs ready to fall on his vehicles in his driveway.
Where are the trees located?
They are township trees. They are in the right of way of the township.
Are they between the curb line and the sidewalk or on the inside part?
They are on the township easement.
I understand that, but are they located between curb and sidewalk, or are they?
There is no
There's no sidewalks in
So how
that
many feet from
town.
the curb?
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Mark, on that street, it's a borough right-of-way, not a borough easement, not to confuse it.
Okay.
Say it again?
It's a borough right-of-way, not a borough easement.
Okay.
When I moved into town, I had a dead tree in my backyard. My responsibility. I took it down. No problem. It cost me $4,000 before it damaged my home, my neighbor's homes, my neighbor's property. I took it down. If I could trim these trees, I would have it done myself. Well, we know we as homeowners cannot touch borough trees. Therefore, it falls on the borough to take care of these trees, which is not being done. Someone is going to get seriously injured with these trees, with these limbs. My neighbors have called repeatedly about these limbs. Nothing is getting done because they're told there is no money in the budget. I don't get it. My taxes went up exponentially last year. My taxes went up exponentially this year. But there's no money in the budget to take care of a tree. So now I'm out to have had to have my house repaired. I'm out of car. My insurance has gone up on my home. My car insurance is now going to go up because I've had 2 claims on the same insurance company within 8 months. How is this fair to me as a property owner in this town? Anybody have any answers for me? Nobody.
I have a suggestion. I know Greg and the DPW, and before him, Mike. When a complaint comes in, there is a form, they get the form, they go out, they look at the tree, and they evaluate, does it need to be trimmed, does it need to come down? I would hesitate saying that it's being ignored, although I know that must feel like that, right?
No, because I know it is because my neighbor across the street on Coolidge, in the rear of their home, they had a tree that he was trying to get taken down for the longest time, and every time he called town or DPW, oh yeah, you're on the bottom of the list. That's the answers I got.
Right.
You're on the bottom of the list.
What,
Okay.
who told you about money or budgetary concerns?
When I called the DPW years ago, and when my neighbors called the DPW recently, they're told that there's no money in the budget for tree maintenance. Now, I don't believe they spoke to this gentleman, because I don't think, he seems like a very professional man to me. I don't think he would say that. But whoever answered the phone did.
Well, I just want to
And,
say,
you know, we're all being told in that neighborhood, you're on the bottom of the list. Every time somebody calls, you're on the bottom of the list, you're on the bottom of the list, you're on the bottom.
Can you give Greg your address and he could have someone take it?
Oh, we have it.
336 Coolidge Drive.
Yep. If you come to my house and sit on my property or stand on my front porch, Greg, I can point out to you in front of 339 in front of 335, the house next door to me, all of these, the tree in front of my home, I can point out probably a dozen limbs in those trees that are ready to fall.
Are they all the same species?
Yes, they're all oaks, and they're all probably 75-foot high trees. I don't want the trees taken down, don't get me wrong. I love the trees, and I don't want the trees taken down because then my house is going to be hotter than heated. It's providing shade for my home.
So if you could give me your telephone number, I'll speak to Greg.
That has my number.
And I'll get back to you by the time of the next council meeting.
The other thing I do want to do is I do want to thank Pat, because I contacted Pat right away about this when this first happened. Angela, you spoke to my wife, you called my wife.
Oh, that's you? Oh, yeah, I did speak to your wife, yes.
And they both told me to get all my paperwork together, to hand into the township, for the township to submit it to their insurance company, to at least get my deductibles back.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm going to get maybe $1,700 back. Meanwhile, I'm out, $25,000. Something needs to be done with these trees. They just need to be maintained. They don't need to be cut down. I don't want them cut down. They just need to have the dead limbs taken off of them. That's all we're asking. And it's not just me, it's the entire neighborhood. I have talked to a lot of my neighbors, and they say, we've called. I said, well, now I'm going to go to the council meeting, and I'm going to make it a point, and I'm going to make it known to the council that we've got an issue that needs to be addressed. And people are losing money. It's not fair. It's not fair to money. Pat, I don't know if you have pictures of the car.
I just showed you.
Yeah.
And Voorhees reached out today too.
Excuse me?
Voorhees reached out today too, right, to Greg, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Yesterday or today, right?
What's the address?
339 Voorhees?
Well, 330, well, somebody from DPW came
They did.
down.
I saw the email.
portion that was still hanging.
I think she was going to do it herself.
Oh, that's right, that was that.
Yeah, she was going to do it herself for you.
That was,
We also,
Yeah.
you called and complained about it, or 339 called actually complained about the tree. Because the 339's tree was the one
that was in the back of his home.
No. In the front of the home. The tree that hit your car.
No, that's not 339, that's
Yes.
330.
Across the street.
It's 339.
Is it my wife is correct. She's always right.
I spoke with you, and I appreciate everything you did as well.
So we received a call complaint directly from that address in September and trimmed the dead from the tree in September. And we did that in-house. So that's where we can get some of the savings. But these trees are actually,
You can tell that tree's been dead for how
I'm going to laminate this for my desk. So.
I gotta know if he's home if you want it, it's on the front lawn.
I'll do it back together and bring a tree.
Just from the winds last night, all the neighbors have limbs outside that have broken off the trees. They're all on the curb again.
Yeah, and it's common occurrence with oaks, and the oaks are actually like, I actually had a Caffrey out there, we've got quite a few trees being taken care of in the neighborhood, but Caffrey was out there, he says they're actually 90 feet trees. Yeah, and then that's the issue, the majority of tree trucks don't reach 75 feet. Even though the one that we are borrowing through a shared service agreement is 75 feet. So you have to go with a tandem axle bucket truck to get that high if you just want to trim it. And unfortunately, this is an unfortunate incident that happens with trees. There's no way to predict when it could fall. It could be healthy, it could be dead. It could be dead inside and look healthy on the outside. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And we try to mitigate it as quickly as we can.
No, I understand. My concern is somebody's gonna get killed. Somebody's gonna get killed by one of these limbs falling. The guy across the street's got a little boy. He's always outside with his little remote control car. And I told him the other night, I said, Dave, don't go near that. Don't go near these trees, dude. Look at it. All these branches are ready to go. Don't go near these trees.
I would just
He's the
suggest.
guy that doesn't park in his driveway because of the limits.
I would suggest getting, that form is on the DPW website or the borough website?
I've actually just had this conversation with Angela today. We are still stuck in a Stone Age, we use paper. Angela and I have agreed to a way of making a digital form that will go directly to DPW as soon as
That
it's
would be
submitted
great.
for any request for DPW, not just streets.
Right.
Any request they want DPW to take care of.
This way you're sure it gets to the superintendent and he addresses it.
Yeah, no, but
Not just me, it'll be
he took care of it immediately.
No, I'm just
as well.
saying, sometimes, you know, somebody picks the phone up, who did you talk to? I don't know, they forget to relay the message,
no,
and the resident doesn't feel
The
heard.
part that was still hanging, the part that was still there,
Right.
that the section snapped off and destroyed my car, he was there the next day and they
Right.
did take care of it. And, you know, and I thank everybody, and I thank him because you had spoke to my wife also. Everybody spoke to my wife because Pat, of course, gave them her number.
Anytime.
Well, she did send a request in, so, through the
Yes, and I
through the
think-
website,
yeah,
which
she
was
said
right,
she
and
used it
that's
too.
when I called her, so.
So it's just,
It's,
you know, you guys are probably gonna get hit left and right with people filing claims with the town for damages done to their property, for their deductibles. And, you know, the other big thing is now we as residents are going to incur all these additional charges. Me, I have to go buy a new car, and now my insurances are going up. You know, on top of my taxes raising and everything else, now all of this is going up because the trees are not maintained. So if you guys can please do something about, you know, giving this, don't tie his hands. Give him the opportunity. I'm not faulting him. His guys do a great job. They do a wonderful job. And I'm not faulting him, but his hands are tied. And he needs what he needs to get the job done. Otherwise, you guys are just going to get hit left and right. And the township is going to have to keep raising our taxes even more and more and more because now your insurance costs are going to go up. Because you're going to be getting hit with all these claims against the town.
Councilman Finistraw, do you know how much money is in the tree fund this year?
It's, the whole year was budgeted for 35,000, and we're currently down to 8,800.
And that was on top of last year's similar allotment. So this is funded year over year. Yeah, it's a year-over-year funding that we make on the budget in the Finance Committee. And to Mr. Finistrell's point before, we were very diligent this year, not trying to raise taxes. I think you did a good job of outlining how we were actually the lowest percentage of your bill that went up at the municipality. So we didn't take the opportunity to raise the tree trimming budget, the shady tree budget. Shady tree line item. Something to take into consideration. There is a little bit of funding left in there. We unfortunately had some wins this last week that your guys were out all over the place. They were eating up on that budget.
Yeah, but this was not this week, last week, when there was even no wind. The tree limb just snapped. And I didn't even hear it because I was in the back of my house. My neighbor rang my doorbell and said, you may want to come and look at your car.
I think the Finance Committee, and I don't want to speak for you, Joe, but we'd likely be very open to understanding if you wanted to put a schedule together and how much that would cost, and in 2025's budget, let's look at this with eyes wide open, not just make guesses on prior year's spend like we've been doing. So
because
if the DPW Committee and Greg, yourself, if you want to look into that, and Joe, we'd be very open to just look
we
at
need
that.
to add more.
But correct me if a resident gets seriously injured with one of these limbs falling, you're going to have a major lawsuit.
But correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Greg mentioned that this isn't your average typical tree. These are 90-foot trees, and
They've been here
it's
forever.
right. I mean, it's not,
The whole neighborhood.
It's not something easily.
They're beautiful trees.
Right. But I'm just saying.
They're gorgeous trees.
I understand, but like I said, if it was a 40-foot tree or 30-foot, you could probably get it done. It's a 90-foot tree. It's a little more
You know what my
complicated.
dad used to say to me? That sounds like a you problem, not a me.
No, we'll take care of it, but unfortunately, it's not something that could get done overnight. We'll get it taken
I
care of.
understand that, but my concern is, I just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention, because someone's gonna get hurt.
No, nobody's slouching on it. We're gonna take care of it.
Someone in town is gonna get hurt, and you guys are gonna have a major, major lawsuit on your hands. Because somebody, if this branch that destroyed my car fell on a person, it would have killed him. It would have killed him. It actually bent the rail along the front windshield of the car. That's how heavy this tree then was, that, it shattered the windshield, it bent the rail, broke off the pads or the whole thing, dented the hood, destroyed the car. If this would have hit a person, it would have killed him.
Hey, Greg, if you need more funds, we could talk to Ken, maybe he always
I
seems
think
to
we
find
need to talk to Ken.
some money, so,
Definitely.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
okay.
There's a little more left still.
Ken always seems to find money.
Tom Jacoby, 119 North 20th. I'm here for property taxes.
Sorry?
Property taxes.
Okay.
Property taxes.
Yep, I heard.
It's not happened to increase, I would assume. Property tax increase.
Yeah, I'm not here just, well, I know everybody else, everybody got the same raise, the same, anything like that, but can you explain to me why they go up that much? Last year and this year, my taxes, 2020, 11,140. 2021, 11,328, so not a couple $100. 2022, 11,626, maybe $300. And it's been, I've been in Kenworth for almost 40 years. They go to those few dollars every year, they go up. Yeah. All of a sudden, last year, from 11,600 to 12,500, like 9% increase. This year, I don't have the total yet, but the estimate you guys sent, usually the fourth quarter is going to be the same, the estimate. The third, usually it's like, that is going to go up from 12,500 to about 14. I mean, I know you guys said that taxes in the town is about 20%. The rest of it is the county, the state.
Schools eats up the biggest, schools about 50, 50%.
The way I'm asking this question, when you get this, the US town, the county, or the state, why this much? Decide whether the economy is terrible, whether people can afford to buy food, how much it went up and things like that, and then they get something like this. I mean, that's, I say my quarter is this year, you estimate in my, the second quarter to the third quarter, now it's like $600 more.
Sir, I can absolutely sympathize with you on this. I'm not going to make excuses, I'm just going to state some facts. I'm just going to round the number. Your taxes go up $1,000. 300 of those dollars is the increase from this governing body. We are actually just the tax collectors for the county, for the open space, for the library, and for the schools. When you look at that $300 from the 1,000, there's your 30%. Mr. Finstrella gave the breakdowns before. 50% of that, 500 goes to the school, another 280 or 70 go to the county, and the rest wind up going to the library and open space. So we become the tax collectors for the rest of those entities, these other governing bodies. The school board's autonomous. We control what we control, but the county controls what they control, and the library by state statute gets a percentage of the increase. So when you look at it and you boil it down, again, I'm not making excuses, but this governing body, the finance committee, and then approved by the governing body, we went through each item on our budget with a scalpel. We went down to one bulk pickup this year. We got flack for that, but the reason why we did that is because we're trying to keep costs low. We had to fire somebody to reduce services or reduce services through some other means so we could stay under the cap, the law that prevents us from going higher than a couple of percent. We did not want to pass a resolution to go higher than that. We wanted to keep taxes low. Unfortunately, doing that, we only control 30% of the entire purse. So I sympathize with you. I'm a taxpayer in this county, in this town as well, and the taxes have gotten out of control. We are taxed enough already. That's an old adage from pre-Obama days, but it still holds true. We really are taxed enough. I sympathize. I'm really just stating facts. I really have nothing more to say. It's just that of that portion, we don't control it all. So the school board meetings is another place to go and ask the same question that you asked. I can tell you that we faced a hard decision of cutting services or employees so we can remain under the cap, and we chose to cut the bulk pickup. I hope it was the right decision. I'd hate to see somebody get laid off in Kenilworth, so we could have 2 bulk pickups, let's say. But we have been very diligent, so it is heard. I understand where you're coming from. Unfortunately, though, we're 30% of that pie. So the school board is 50%, and then the county is another 30. They also need to hear what you're saying. And the same way that your fees went up, the town's fees went up, right? When we look at 3 streets to be paved in Kenilworth, it's $500,000.
Did you, excuse me, did you apply for the senior tax freeze?
I did not. I'm talking in general. I never did. Right now I have to do it.
I think you should do it, of course.
But it was not a personal thing. Overall, I talked to neighbors, family members. They all got the same list.
There is a program that'll help you.
Other people with kids and things like that. I mean, like I said, they can afford to buy food, and then all of a sudden the government or the state or the county or whoever it is like that, you explain to her. I mean, explain to her why they go up that much. Why, you guys said the 30% of it. All right, but the county, I have to go to the county, ask them why they went up 9%, 10%, 12% every year now. What is it going to be now? 10 years from now, is they going to double up? They're going to pay $40,000 a year taxes?
We have no control over those other entities. I know, it's frustrating.
I just frustrated, because, I got your letter, the estimated for the third quarter, thing like that, was this much, and like that. And I was hoping there would be something in there explaining us that, that we realize it's a big raise from last year, or in the previous year too, or thing like that, So he said, if you have any concern, get in touch with the county or the state or something like that. I mean, because I would like to see the bottom of it. How did things change so much that the state, the school, there's so much more money, and for whatever other things that they needed to spend so much, 10, 1%. When people, like I said, they can get like 2% raise, or and the inflation now, and things like that. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, this year, though, the state government cut funding to our school. We ended up getting some of the money back, but it's $1.5 million was cut at the state level. They cut it to our schools. That's why it's such a big jump this year. Last year, when the Merck won their tax appeal, we had to pay them back $1.3 million, and we lost $1.3 million in income. So I would hope, and I told Ken, you better have it on the next letter that goes out explaining why. So it's not even the school board's fault. They got knowing why they cut our bond. They said our property tax went up.
Property values went up in town, so that's why.
They said they went up 70%, and our average income went up like $30,000. I don't know what numbers they're looking at, but definitely the state government should be getting many phone calls. I'd like to include their number on it, because they're the ones that messed up the little towns.
Don't forget, we also passed the referendum for the school.
That's coming next year.
I think that's in this year.
That's next year.
It's next year.
I think some of it.
No, next year.
To me,
Next year's the big one.
you can give those taxes. If I sell my house and the guy pays whatever that is, twice as much that was worth the house, and things like that, then you tax that guy that was like that. I live there on this house over here since 2001, 23 years, and things like that. I mean, even the property goes up. If I don't sell the house, to me it's the same house. Well, why should I pay more taxes because it says the value of your house? Whatever, I have to sell the house.
I think some of it, though, some of it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No, it is, but the referendum doesn't kick in until back to 25.
Right.
That's 400 household. On top of everything else next year.
Carol Savona, 35 Commonwealth Road. Oh, by the way, they did take down a huge tree on Park Drive yesterday. I don't know who did it, but our neighbor had been asking for a long time to get it taken down yesterday.
Good.
It was one of those really big ones. It came down. And last year there was another one that was taken down. it was a sycamore that fell on the guy's car first, and then they got it taken down. But I just wanted to second that gentleman's sentiments. Our taxes went up $909 from last quarter to this quarter, so that's $1,800. I'm worried about the other seniors in town. I know a few people.
Did you apply for the senior tax freeze? Did you apply for the senior tax freeze?
No,
Do
we
you know
don't.
what that is?
We got the
Yes,
book.
yes,
We have
yes,
the thing.
please do that.
But still, there's
It's significant.
there's a lot of people that are.
We're all those people too.
I know. even the people on a fixed income. You know?
That's why they have the senior tax freeze. Tax freeze is there to help you. And I strongly urge you to apply for it, because you won't have this problem.
It would be nice.
We need political change in Trenton, otherwise it's never going to end.
Yeah.
That's why my friend just moved to Florida, same reason. He says that Jersey's lost. I hope they're mistaken, but they just tax and spend, they don't care. And they play the shell game, oh, we'll give you a homestead reback, and then they cut funding to your school.
Well, there's a lot of factors coming into play there.
And
Just that.
It's their fault. It's our
Losing our
losers.
federal tax deduction also was bad, you know,
Right,
because we can
sure.
only take off 10,000.
Right, correct.
So
Do you
we have
know
to
how
pay-
to, do you know how to apply for the tax freeze? Do you know?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There's a blue book.
Okay.
We got it.
I believe the state has a maximum amount as well that you pay in property tax before you can claim it on your state income taxes. So it's not just the federal SALT deductions, that the state has a version of that as well. So to Mr. Scarice's point, leadership is the ones that would change that. We really can't control that, but voting is very important. Very important.
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah.
I work elections usually.
That's true.
I knew I recognized you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good evening, folks. My name's Bob Herbert, 14 North
Bob.
12th Street.
Good evening, Bob.
Everybody, it's been a while. I really wanted to bring up 2 points, but before I do that, I'd like to make a suggestion regarding the tree budget. It's always been an issue in town, as we all know. But maybe with this redevelopment agreement and this pilot program, that's, in lieu of taxes, I've been to plenty of meetings where that program is supposed to help our town and give us some extra spending money that we don't have to give to the school. So maybe we can look at that with that project we agreed on and be able to bump up that yearly tree budget, so our great DPW can, address some of these issues that our town citizens are concerned with. It's just a suggestion, if you guys could look into that. It's maybe a way to find some money, okay?
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome. 2 things I'd like to bring up. My street, North 12th Street, from the Boulevard to Monroe Avenue. About 5 or 6 years ago, that end of town, a lot of streets were paved. But 12th Street between the Boulevard and Monroe Avenue wasn't addressed. I brought it to Tony from Harbor's consultant. I brought it to his attention that, the utility companies came like 8 times, marked up my lawn, and everybody around us got repaved, and that section was supposed to be part of it, and it wasn't. So what I'm asking is, if you guys, I know it's too late this year because you're already at, assigned jobs, but can you make it a priority for next year to look at that street about redoing that section? And I'll tell you what some problems that we're having there now. When you turn off the boulevard, on the inner side of the crosswalk, for 8 years, we have a sinkhole. And for 8 years, we've been filling it in, and it just keeps blowing out. Just the other day, with all that rain that we had, when I tell you it's 3 by 5, it was filled with water. And I've seen cars drive through there, splashed pedestrians crossing, kids riding their bike through.
Where exactly is that sinkhole?
Right on the inner side of the crosswalk, in the middle of the width of the street.
of?
North 12th.
North 12th.
And Boulevard. I got to drive my car around it every time.
I'll check the right-of-ways to see whose jurisdiction that is, if it's county or...
It probably falls under the county.
Right, and if it is, we'll get them out there because it could be an underlying issue with the storm drains. If a pipe is collapsed, that might be too wide to keep flowing.
Me too.
Okay, well, the other problem we have there, and the police did everything possibly they could. They've been ticketing the truck drivers, tractor trailers coming down the block where they're not supposed to be going down that section. We have a truck route. But what those trucks been doing, our infrastructure, the manholes in the center of the road, the main trunk, they're sunk. We watch them every year sink more and more and more. And now with all the work being done on the boulevard and they're using the end of 12th Street, Old National 2 parking lot as a staging area, not saying that they caused it, but that heavy truck and heavy bulldozers going up and down the street, it's not helping. Wherever there's a plate in the middle of the road, if it hasn't sunken, there's holes all around the plate. So water's catching there. We got a lot of kids that go up and down the block. They can twist their ankles in there. It's dark at night or something. So I'd be more than glad to walk the block with the engineer and show them all our concerns. A lot of my neighbors are concerned with it. But I know we can't do nothing this year, but can we please address it next year? That's the only section in that area that hasn't been addressed with, repavement. I would really appreciate it.
Oh, Christian from Harbor's in the back.
He's right there.
Okay, well, I don't know his schedule, so he knows how to reach me.
Can you, North 12th Street?
So, and he can talk to Tony, because Tony's aware of it. We talked about it a few times.
Yeah, can we get on the plans for next year for 20?
Or at least take a walk and see where we're at.
2025 has already been put in for.
Right.
Yeah, but it was overlooked 5 or 6 years ago.
First, let's take a look at it, see if it's borough county.
Well, I'm not only talking about that in the crosswalk, I'm talking the whole length, 12th Street, from the boulevard to Monroe Avenue. We have a lot of sinkholes. Our infrastructure, our main trunk is sinking. Illegal tractor trailers going.
I'll take a look at the road. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, Christian, why don't you guys take a look? And if we have to horse trade something out from a road that's not in as bad shape to one that is worse, we should prioritize this based on the condition of the road, not just when the complaint comes in. So let's be judicious about that.
But I think it's not just the road, he's saying that there's that the sewers
the
are
North 12th
collapsing.
Street, what I meant by the road.
And like I said, 5 or 6 years ago, it was supposed to be addressed and it was overlooked. It just slipped through the cracks. It happens. I understand. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
My last thing I'd like to bring up, Mayor, unfortunately, we were both very busy. I know we've had several communications we were going to try to get together, but our schedules just conflicted. The corner of 14th Street and the Boulevard. This year alone, my wife and I almost got hit 3 times crossing over 14th Street on the boulevard, because at night, it's so dark. This time of year, it's light out till 9 o'clock. But up till June, it gets dark early. We try to walk up to town and, contribute to the local businesses, go out to eat, buy, miscellaneous things or whatever. So we walked up, and 3 times we almost got hit. So my suggestion is we need to talk to the utility company about putting some kind of light on the poles that are on the corner there that lights that, or something similar that Cranford does. When you walk up to the intersection, that we have a sensor that gives you a blinking light, like they do underneath the railroad trestle over there on North Avenue between South, but it's very dark there. And
Can you check with the traffic to see if they can look into contacting them?
It's 14th Street.
14th is a borough road, but it intersects right near the county, so I'm not
Intersects.
sure how that would go, how many feet off, but...
I think it needs a light anyway, because it becomes.
And it's right by the school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the crosswalk is definitely the county right of way. How many times in
Right.
the years that we lived here, we repaved the boulevard, and we fought, even when the Grotto Engineering was here, we fought with the county, hey, paved that too. They said, no, it's ours. And it was always just back and forth. But we know 10 feet in from the corners, from the face of the curb on the boulevard, is the county road, but they don't want to do anything with it for whatever reason other than raise our taxes, but that's the county, not us. But I know our borough and all of the elected officials over the years, every time we repave the boulevard, which I'm hoping we do now with the new gas line.
We're going to. They
Yeah.
told me they were going to do it.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I don't know if they have a round roller when they tamp down.
Got a flat spot on it or something.
No,
You know about construction, but you drive your car down in that lane and it's all the way
Yeah,
down.
it wasn't infrared yet, that's just the regular coating, and they'll probably have it infrared before they actually repave it, but that won't be until they get to out of Kenilworth.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I think the roller is a little out of round,
Honestly, I think just because it's in the fast lane, trucks hit that too, and just the way that the trucks come down the boulevard, just...
Well, as you know, that's my problem on 12th Street. And our main trunk, our infrastructure that feeds those families, we all discharge into there. I mean, it's bad. It's getting worse and worse. And there's been people there living longer than me. But my biggest concern, not only for myself, I've even brought flashlights when we walk at night at one of those times and put it on a flashing mode to cross the street. I put a bright neon vest on, and I still almost got hit there. It's that dark, part-time of the year, certain times of the year. So we can look into that and see if we can do something there. September, school's coming up. That time of year it gets dark. Families are walking their kids.
We may be able to put a pedestrian blinking light there, that you could activate by touching it.
A hawk light, right?
Well, the Hawk is the county light, and that was a hard lift.
Yeah.
That's about $100,000, and a regular traffic signal is like 3 times the price of that.
I'm just throwing ideas, a street light, a blinking light.
Yeah, maybe a pedestrian light, like we have at 19th Street in the Boulevard, something like that, possibly, or...
Possibly something like that, or...
Didn't the county give us a few last year?
Solar lights.
The blinking ones. Christian, do we still have them?
No, they were slated for specific intersections.
Oh, we can't move, one of them was 14th Street up by the...
I get it. Maybe solar
Can we move it
in the
down?
walkway or something. Something that triggers a little bit of light there before somebody gets hit. As we know, 14th and Monroe many years ago, we almost bankrupt the town with a traffic light. Theirs is no traffic light. But with these LED lights, people coming down 4th Street, 14th Street, people making rights and lefts, they're blinding each other. It's not the driver's fault, it's just a dark corner.
Right, I agree.
And we need help.
We'll look into it, definitely. Thanks,
Thank you very
Bob.
much.
Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Thank you, Bob. Nice to see you.
Carolyn Pappas, North 21st Street. I had something else on my mind to talk about, but because Shirley Maxwell is here, I would like to publicly thank her for being one of the most inspiring people I have ever met. Her goal is to make other people happy.
I know.
And one small example, I have a hobby. I do origami, that's Japanese paper folding. And I ran out of paper. Well, within a day, Shirley had ordered a pack of paper for me, and there it is. That kind of, she's an inspiration, and I thank God that she has, that she ended up coming to the seniors. I started coming to the seniors. I retired 9 years ago, and Shirley joined us this past year, and I feel so blessed to know her. Thank you, Shirley.
That's nice, Carol.
Very nice.
Thank
you,
you.
Carol.
Good job, Shirley, and thank you, Carol.
Okay, anyone else?
Gail Snyder, 27 South Michigan. The gentleman from North 12th, he mentioned something about a project that has a pilot, tax reform attached to it. I haven't heard anything about anything. Can you share that with us? What
I'm not sure what you're asking.
What program?
The Merck property was sold to Onyx, and Onyx has been looking for the redevelopment agreement.
Right.
That's the pilot.
Well, we haven't, it hasn't been negotiated
Yeah,
yet.
so-
It's not.
It's
there's
like in
not-
the super infancy stage.
Yeah, really infant.
So we really can't even discuss it, unfortunately, because we don't have any facts in
We
front.
have no
Okay,
information
yeah,
yet,
it sounded
sorry.
like, this project was going through.
Well, it's at the early
You know?
stages. We've asked the planning board to do an assessment of the plan. It's going through the motions. Mark, again, procedure, I don't want to screw it up, but this is a long one. And we've had a few resolutions that we've passed on this governing body level to authorize the planning board to start a study, make a few hires. So I believe that's what Mr. Herbert was referring to, that agreement.
I actually think he's talking about the one from last year.
The 26th Street.
That's what I'm saying.
2 years now, on 26th Street. That's
Oh,
the one
okay.
I'm talking about.
That agreement's already negotiated.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
That one is in the
It hasn't
books.
started yet, but they do have the pilot program.
He's talking about the project that's slated to go behind the
Access
self-storage,
self-storage.
where that empty
Oh,
lot
okay.
is, back there. That's what he's talking about.
There's a 165-unit apartment building about to go up.
So that's going through, that's been
Yes.
approved?
That was
Yes.
past years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Several years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I would like to say, Mayor, is, like we said 2 years ago, in this pilot program, the only one that's benefited is the contractor. If we're going to get the money in, let's use it for DPW or police department, fire department, projects, anything to help them
Offset the taxes. Let's use it to offset the taxes.
Yeah, well,
The tax increases.
right, it does
Yes.
offset it. You say that, you
Yeah,
told
big
us that
time,
was a
yeah.
benefit before it went to a vote.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing 2 years now. I don't know if anybody has the answer why it hasn't
Well, it
project
hasn't
started.
started. I don't really know exactly why.
Environmental
I
protection.
believe that building materials have tripled,
Oh, for sure they did.
and
Maybe that's the cost.
the numbers just don't make sense anymore.
But-
I don't know
Right. But
when
Ken,
that project's going to
Is
start.
there any language in the pilot program that maybe we can freeze it until they start or something?
It hasn't started, it hasn't started.
Yeah.
They're still paying traditional taxes.
They are?
Yes.
It has not started.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, that's a good thing, because I hate to see them use the system in 28 years, we don't see anything,
Yeah, no, they're not, it's not begun.
Thank you.
Bill, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is a topic that was brought to my attention by my supervisor, my foreman, in regards to that property you guys just mentioned on North 26. Did anyone think about the toll it's going to take on the sewer system?
The sewer system was addressed, yeah.
Every single thing was
You just wanted to make sure,
Yes.
because we know that's an aging part of the sewer system,
Right.
and we didn't want that to be overtaxed and overburdened and then cause issues for everybody else out.
Right.
Yeah, they have to run a new line, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I just wanted to
Yeah,
ask.
sewer, water, utilities.
And they're actually going to,
Fire
we had,
department.
Yeah.
yeah, and they're actually going to be pay for their flow too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in the, it's going to fall on our flow, but they're going to pay their percentage.
All right, I was just worried about the pipes themselves.
Yeah, it's only a 12-inch, it wasn't made because, so they're gonna have to run a new line all the way, and I guess Roselle Park will have to pick it up, wherever that bottlenecks. It was never designed for residential, let alone that many.
Okay, just wanted to address that, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
Motion, second.
All in favor?
Okay, whose motion? I'm sorry.
We have general business, right?
I think Mr. Scarice made the motion, or somebody.
I thought I seconded that.
you
Yeah,
seconded.
thanks, I just didn't hear Joe, thanks.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
No, we have, no, no. General business. General
I think he wants
business.
to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I invited Carmen to speak, because it was my understanding that this was coming.
Yeah, no, yeah, you wanted
Okay.
to discuss it
I
here.
don't have it
Yeah,
on my
that's what
agenda.
we're gonna discuss
Yeah, he's
here.
been waiting patiently doing it.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
sorry.
gonna let Carmen speak on this.
Okay, Carmen, would you like to come up and speak?
This is to do with the guess, fire pit regulations. Thank you, Carmen. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Yeah, so we're currently working to put a ordinance in for recreational fires. The town currently adopted the Uniform Fire Code years ago, which we enforce. In the fire code, there is a chapter, General Precautions Against Fire, which sets guidelines and regulations for recreational fire. However, the Uniform Fire Code cannot be enforced at a single-family home or a two-family. It's only for 3 families and up. We don't have a lot of issues over the past years with, illegal burning, people getting out of control with their fire pits. We're not against it, it just has to be regulated. This year we had 3 calls. One was about a complaint, a gentleman was burning a tree stump on his yard for whatever reason. Another one was a nuisance with smoke just coming into a resident's house. The thing is, we don't have any enforcement right if this does happen on a single family or 2-family home. So our main goal is to educate the residents when we respond out to this. It's not even to issue penalties. It's here's a copy of the local ordinance. We educate them. And like I said, we already are enforcing this on rental properties in the home. It's just we're looking to enforce it across the board. So
What does it say for rental properties now? The Borough Code or the ordinance? You said you can't enforce it. What are you enforcing?
yeah, so if we get a complaint that we get a complaint, let's just say 123 New Street, right? Just to make that up. We have a resident who has a massive fire pit in their backyard. It's not even an approved fire pit. They have a bonfire going in their backyard. Or it is a legal fire pit, but they're just burning construction material, yard waste. We can go there, issue a violation and a penalty, notice of violations to go with that. If it's a private-owned home, we have no ground to stand.
So if somebody decided to,
if somebody tried to create
have their backyard and
Correct.
huge fire, we can't.
There's no
enforce that.
enforcement. It's just we go there, put it out.
Wow.
And,
So Carmen, can I ask a question? Why can't we educate without the ordinance? And I'm drawing a parallel over to our code enforcement where, same thing, we don't have the right to go on people's properties. I don't know why we'd want to do that.
So, like I said, sometimes we do get complaints. Going back a couple of years ago now, there was an older gentleman on one of the Spaghetti Streets who was just burning leaves, newspaper, construction material. The fire department at least 3 times responded out there. We go there, we put it out, and then it's like, how many times are we going to keep going there without any repercussion? You don't give them notice violation, there's nothing, no penalties to be issued, because now you have the fire department keep going out multiple times.
So is it that you need a mechanism to issue a notice of violation,
Correct.
not necessarily to go onto people's property?
Yeah, no, we're not going to look and say this person has a fire pit. We get a complaint that a resident is burning construction material or they're up against someone's fence, which is one of the complaints we did field, but it was a privately owned home. And at the time, the resident was no longer doing it. It was after the fact, But it's more so when we do respond out to this. We're not going investigating people's backyards or fire pits. We receive a complaint, we go out, investigate it, educate them on the ordinance. If it becomes a reoccurring issue, the same person just keeps burning construction material or whatnot.
So I'll tell you, the ordinance that was sent as a sample, I found it to be very intrusive. I was actually pretty surprised that this was happening in a free state like New Jersey.
Yeah.
There were guidelines in there about the types of fire pits it could be, the inch of the wood diameter that needed to be burned. I agree with you on, you can't burn construction material, that's going to create a noxious odor issue. Well, I checked with the code enforcement, and there's been no noxious odor issues related to that. I guess they come in through the fire.
Yeah, a lot of them, they call the...
But noxious odors is a violation that code enforcement goes out for. So I found it quite surprising that in 5 years of the look back they did, not a single complaint came in.
Yeah.
Like, how would I know as a resident to call the fire chief, the wardens, as opposed to code enforcement? I wouldn't think that way. So I found it quite surprising. But if it's just something that would allow you to go out and issue notice of violation so you don't have to go 3 times and say the same thing, that I can understand. But maybe not, and I don't know, Mark, if you've seen the sample, I think it came from a neighboring town. Very, very intrusive. So I think I got a visceral reaction to it. Seemed to go against my libertarian views, something like that. But if it's just so you can do a notice of violation, that I understand.
Yeah, that's the purpose of it. And unions is very, like I said, it all comes from the fire code, and unions is identical. A couple words are worded differently, or the description of it, but unions identical, and so is Cranford from the Uniform Fire Code. So if I can go to
Which
a
applies
rental,
to
rental,
three or four, or three or more homes.
if it's a single.
Say that again.
So if it's a single family, if it's a non-owner occupied, the Uniform Fire Code applies to
Okay,
it. Single
rentals.
family, two family, three family, you name it. If it's owner occupied, single family, two family, there's zero code enforcement that we could do.
All right, so you have the mechanism now for three or more?
And single and two
We don't
family.
have
single that are
three-family
rental.
houses in Kenilworth, so if there are any three-family houses, they're
There
illegal.
are
They're
some
illegal.
grandfathered in, they're not illegal. There are some permitted.
Maybe some.
So, but you have the
Very few.
mechanism to do it.
I'd like to know where they are.
And we're talking about 165-unit apartment building and other things
Yeah.
like that. I'm glad you have it for the rentals, I'm glad you have it for the three or more. If you need to issue a notice of violation, and I hear you on that, right? You go to the same person's house 3 times, the 4th time could be a fire on the whole block.
Yeah.
And then we've missed the opportunity.
We're wasting
to do something.
resources. What does it cost probably to get them out there?
So I would be in favor, not that I control all this, but if this was an ordinance and it was only allowing you to issue the notice of violation, not create the standards that the fire department has to come and look at.
What's the violation of?
A pit. Well, the construction materials being burned.
No,
there
but
were-
if
there
it's
was-
just a fire pit that is
we say you
really
can't-
burning out of control and it's blowing over to your neighbor next door, because I have a situation like that down at our shore house.
Yeah.
And I always had this huge fire pit going, and it would blow onto my property and the guy next to him, that you couldn't even sit in the backyard. So what do you do in a case like that?
Well, that's why I asked for statistics on how often those things are happening, and I didn't get anything back. And you think you came here today saying there were 3.
Yeah.
0 came in through the borough construction office,
Right.
and only 3, and I don't know how many numbers of years. So it's almost like you have to be very proactive here, and I agree with being proactive,
Yeah.
but I don't want to overdo it, because this is now we're intruding on people's free liberty in Kenilworth, to be able
But
to have
it's
a
the same
fire in
free
their
liberty as
backyard.
the people next door that have to smell it.
There has to be a line that we draw from the complaint to the
Exactly.
Yeah, we can strike the balance,
violation.
and I have some modifications
The balance is the
to
word.
what was sent to everyone, and I think it strikes a good
I haven't
balance.
seen it. Are you going to send it?
Oh, yeah, I'll share it with you.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see I saw what was sent. Did you make changes to what was
yeah,
sent? I thought it was
a
just
number of
grandfathered.
times, and some parts were not part of the code, like the after midnight, that's not necessary, that's not part of the code. We're not going to put a stopwatch on it, as long as they're quiet and with, not disturbing anyone, why not, especially during the summer.
It's these kinds of things, I think, that...
That's going to be removed.
Yeah, we're not going looking for this. This is when it's sent to our office, we have a complaint, we have to address it, and,
Right.
we go there, hey, put it out. Well, I don't have to, and, just...
That's it. Correct me if I'm wrong, you can't really tell the guy, hey, put this out to cause a nuisance.
Yeah, as of now.
There's-
I mean, we go, if it's creating nuisance, we do, but technically, we don't have any enforcement.
Technically, they don't have to, you kind of bluff, right now we're bluffing.
Yeah.
And
Unless
this way-
unless it's a rental, single family,
Yeah.
two family.
Well, two-family owner occupied and single families, they have no
What was the
authority.
reasoning for a rental? I don't understand that distinction.
So basically, I was saying, so if it's a rental property, doesn't matter if it's single family or two family, the Uniform Fire Code applies to it. If you own a single family, two-family home, the Uniform Fire Code doesn't apply to it. So basically, we're not enforcing the Uniform Fire Code because you own your home, we can't.
Right.
But we can enforce a local ordinance. So like Union and Cranford, they adopted an ordinance so that when they do get complaints on this matter, they can actually enforce something instead of just going there and, telling them to do something that
Right.
they really don't have to do.
Right.
All right, so let's have Mark review it, we'll review it.
Yeah, we'll
and
talk about
everybody-
it, maybe.
We'll talk about it the next,
So, would you be able to send your comments to Angela, and Angela, you route it around to the rest of us maybe, so we can see what
Yeah,
the
I'll have
balance is?
to, I have it on paper. so-
Scan it in, yeah, I'll look at
Or
you.
just give it to Angela can scan it and send it to everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. Carmen, thanks for coming
Yeah, no
tonight.
problem.
A lot of
Thank
questions
you.
came when that...
Yeah, if you guys have any more
ordinance came in.
questions, just, reach
Thank
out,
you.
I'm always available.
I'd like to read it. I'm sure I'll
It would only be reactive, like I said, if they're not called, they're not going into people's yards
Right.
and take measures. And the measurements there are part of the code, but if you have lots that are small, that's what I would add a sentence, that the most center part of the yard, because obviously you may not have 15 feet from any structure, fences or something, the yards aren't big enough. But then if you just the most central part, so there's some of the things I would add that would give us property owners those protections. we're thinking beyond Carmen. I know Carmen's not going to do it, but who's going to be after Carmen and make sure that we're not setting up any problems in the future.
Agreed.
And I'll share this with everyone.
And I know, going back, I don't know if it still goes on, with people burning leaves, and another guy used to burn his bread and all kinds of weird stuff like that.
bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bread guy was like 5 times.
That was on like oils or Hazel's, whatever.
Yeah, he was burning all kinds of bread, and all his neighbors were upset because of all the smoke and the smell.
Burn my bread by accident. Toaster all the time.
I think the guy was falling
This
asleep.
was intentional.
Oh, was it?
This was intentionally in his yard. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, like you said, if you keep doing it, the fire department has to keep responding. We'll have teeth for that constant nuisance. One last question. The Affordable Housing Committee, has that been formed yet, or is that still something?
It hasn't been confirmed yet.
Okay, just was curious about it.
Mayor, I have one thing for general business. I think last Saturday, unfortunately, we were watching TV, and some of us may have seen an attempt on our former President Trump's life, and I think that was despicable, and I'm going to use my pulpit here to say God bless Donald Trump, and I hope,
Yeah, that was.
I'll keep my hope to myself, but God bless Donald Trump.
I agree with that. And it reminds you who is the actual threat to freedom or democracy.
I'd just like, I just want to quick comment and say congratulations to Paul Campanelli again on achieving police chief here in Kenilworth. I wish him the best and the best of luck and success in his new position. I'd also like to congratulate Savino on his son's permanent appointment to a police officer here in Kenilworth tonight. Job well done. I know he does a great job in Kenilworth. I've only heard great things about his performance and his buy-in to our community and all that he does for us. I know he's got his alter ego as an MMA guy there, or a wrestling guy, and it was enjoyable watching him do that too. So, two great things tonight with the police department, and I wish them both future success and luck in all they do.
Absolutely.
Yes, I congratulate Paul and, yes, my son Anthony. I think I could do that.
Congratulations.
Good day.
And everyone else have a safe summer, and
Well, summer's not going to be over when we're back, so.
yeah, not over yet, but until we meet again.
Happy trails.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Good night, everyone.